are the author of this wonderful, wonderful book, Dining with the Ancestors. How did you come up with this idea?
Of course, you know the story of Emmett Till. So Emmett Till was a 14-year-old black kid who was brutally murdered in Money, Mississippi, August 28th, 1955, for whistling at a white woman. I ended up meeting his mother. She became a surrogate grandmother to me. I executive produced a play called The State of Mississippi versus Emmett Till in 2000 in San Diego. And so what happened was, after I left the Word Network, I had done 9 years, 138 episodes, and I left there and I was on the verge. That was March of 2012. December 2012, another network had agreed to pick my show up, The Jaspel. That was TCT, Total Christian Television. They said yes, and so what happened was I began to pre-prepare for the launch of the new network for February 2013. And I was like, because a lot of my shows are topical. And so what I decided to do, you know what, why don't I kickstart it for Black History Month? And one of the questions I'll ask the people is, if you had a chance to spend an evening at dinner with anyone from our Black history past, who would it be, and what would the conversation consist of? And basically, I got that idea from looking at a picture of me and Mrs. Emmett Till's mom and the rest of my group. We were at dinner with her in San Diego. And so as I sat there, I looked at the picture. I was like, man, I've had a chance to dine with some of my heroes, with her and Sister Rosa Parks and Don Cornelius and Frankie Beverly and Andre Crouch, who was my dear friend. Yep, and so and he's in the book as well. I got a tribute to him and Stuart Scott in the book from ESPN. But nevertheless, I had a chance to look at that picture and I was like, man, this is what I'll do. I'll start it with this particular subject matter. In the interim, while I was preparing for it, TCT sent me a Dear John email declining, basically saying that they're not going to go with the show after all. They did me a favor, because had I done that episode, I would have done it and moved on to the next 20, 30 episodes. But because they didn't, and the response was fantastic from various different artists. Brandy, what a great question, what a great concept for a book. So I decided, rather than turning it into a television episode, this is a great idea for a book.
I love it. What do you hope to accomplish with this book?
Well, the main thing that I want to accomplish with it, LaCora, is to be able to educate not only Black people, but the world, to let them know that there are significant contributions that our people have made that have gone unreported for years. And once we get a chance to understand our history and know who we are and the DNA of where we came from, then will we begin to become better overall as a people. Most people know their lineage. We're the only ones who, for the most part, came into this country against our will. We're the ones who we had to leave all of our culture behind. So we're still playing catch up after all of these years. But basically also, as I told Cedric the Entertainer and Brandy and my man Charlie Wilson and the rest of the celebrities that I've interviewed, I told them, I said, you guys are heroes. This is going to let your fans know who their heroes are.
Absolutely.
Because even heroes have heroes.
Now you're out there and you're someone's hero, so I know they're wondering, well, who will Eric dine with? Who will he sit down with?
Well, my all-time favorite hero is the woman called Moses, Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman.
I love the fact that she could have, once she got away on her first trip to the North, she could have just stayed there and chilled. But she went back and she went for other people. And I think that's what we should do. Once we make it, whether it be, regardless of the field, don't forget where you came from and get back on that Underground Railroad and go and get some other people. Gladys Knight gave me one of the most intriguing ones.
Tell me.
She said the people that she would want to dine with would be her late mother, Dr. Maya Angelou, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who she said was her cousin. And nobody knew that.
No one knows that. You
she
think
said,
Gladys
I'd like to dine with him again.
You think Gladys fit
No,
I'm kidding.
No, but that was one of the most intriguing, and I had one guy who said he would like to dine with O.J. Simpson.
Whoa, that's
But the
good.
#1 overall person is Dr. King, probably 6, maybe 7 to 1. Dr. King and Malcolm X. And as far as the old schoolers, Frederick Douglass, and of course Harriet Tubman.
Well, how can they get this book? Because I know they want to know, well, how can I have this sitting in my living room for my grandchildren? Where can they go?
You can go to diningwiththeancestors.com.